Once I found out who my target audience was, my reach went up, my sales increased, and I stopped wasting my own time. This is how you build an audience from 0 followers. And let me tell you, if you're struggling to get followers, it's probably because you're a people pleaser.
Savannah, slow down.
Small businesses fail at targeting their audience. And if you're a content creator and you're watching this and you're like, Jazz, I don't even have a business, you are the business. The content is your business. So everybody watching this video is a business owner, and we're gonna apply that title from here on out.
Okay.
Your content's probably confusing, the quality's probably off, you're probably not utilizing keywords and written captions as much as you need to, and you're not using a system to funnel people into your offer. We first need to know exactly who we are speaking to. There's a billion people on this world, and we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different interests. We all have different values. So you wanna make sure you're targeting your niche of people, your group of people. You wanna find who's for you, and we're gonna do that. So let's make sure we're using AI. Let's make sure we're using the resources to help us build our avatar. Our perfect customer, our perfect bestie, that's always gonna come back to opt in to our product, whether it's a hairbrush, whether it's content, whether it's watch time. Not only do we want to make sure we are grabbing our target audience, but you want to make sure they keep coming back. You want to make sure you have very specific qualities that you want to connect with this customer, because if they fit all of the criteria to your perfect avatar customer, they're going to continue coming back. And with your content, they're gonna continue to be in a relationship with your brand. I want you to think as your social platform as a Rolodex. Does anybody know what a Rolodex is? Okay, probably not if you are a Gen Z, but back in the day, there was such thing as Rolodex where you store contact names in alphabetical order. If you didn't have it in that Rolodex, you wouldn't have their info, because back then, you couldn't store contacts in a phone. That's why it's so important to get people's Instagrams, their socials, and to maintain at the front of their social Rolodex. Keep reminding people that you're here and that you're still resonating with what they are interested in. If your target audience is women and you're a women empowerment group, there's so many women empowerment groups, pages, channels. We gotta sub it down. We gotta get rid of the loose grass here. We gotta get rid of the waste. We gotta make sure we see who our besties are compared to just our friends or our acquaintances. Your customer is your best friend. And if you are in the beginning stages of building your business, this is super important to know, okay? So if I'm a women's empowerment group, maybe I wanna target single moms, and maybe even single moms that have had children at a very young age. Depending on if that also fit my story, right? Because you gotta be authentic and true to yourself. And then yeah, I will target maybe single moms who have had kids at a young age, whether they're currently super young, maybe they're along in their journey and they've aged, but they did have a child at a young age, so that maybe they can mentor the younger ones, and then you can create a program and get funding. So it's very specific. And if you're a business that was looking to get funding, they want to see that. They don't want to hear you serve everyone, because they know that's impossible. And when it comes to business, you cannot serve everyone, because then you just be a monopoly. So who are your target audience's interests? What are their hobbies? So for me, at first my brand was about plus size fashion. So I'm talking to women that like fashion, but that also are curvy, okay? And if I really wanted to go even deeper, bringing in a content pillar could be to the fact that I'm Latina, and the experience of being a Latina curvy girl that can't really get her hands on a lot of fashion, right? That would resonate to a specific group of people. For instance, Stanley Club, their audience were older men that specifically liked hiking. Okay, it was very specific. However, eventually things do evolve, so your target audience could evolve, and that turned into moms and women obsessing over the Stanley Cup. So the target audience, you do have to make sure there's a demand there still, depending on where you're at, because if your target audience is super niche down, then you kind of leave yourself closed off when it's time to think of different campaign ideas. Now we need to think of the need. The need, okay? We all have an addiction to something. We all need something. And with neuroscience and manifesting, I want you guys to think of and deserve to have customers that are addicted to you, right? That need you. But because you build value and because you're purposeful, it and then is transcended into good business exchange. But as we are building our business, it is okay to say, I need to build something where people need it so much. So for example, now my target audience is businesses that need social media. They need coverage. They need someone that actually knows what they're talking about, okay? Because anybody can post on social media. Right? They need someone who's gonna have a passion for it, who's gonna constantly optimize the content. And then, yes, at first it was just, okay, well, businesses that need social media. And that was working for a bit, right? Or businesses that need coaching. And that was working for a bit. But I had to hone in, and I also had to listen to what my audience was telling me what they wanted as well to help me get more specific. So it could be general in the beginning, right? Like businesses that need social media. You know, you shoot your shot at all these businesses and you'll start seeing a pattern of not what only you are good at when it comes to creating content, right? Or producing your product, but they are saying that they need as well. So my target audience eventually niched down. I help businesses, real estate, creator, and luxury brands. To be specific, I like to help mega creators when it comes to those higher ticket items. They're in the stage of their career where they can pull on a social media manager. If you have the budget, I would say from the beginning, get a social media manager so they can help you elevate. I'm here if you want to work with me, click the link below. But me honing in on that specific area, real estate, creator, and luxury brands, helps me know who I'm gonna target. And eventually it might get even more honed in depending on who is actually responding. So we gotta know what is the actual need here. When it was fashion, the need is diversity in plus size fashion. Compared to the need of what I'm doing now, social media management is substantially more high. So if you're in that A/B testing phase of building a business, that's gonna happen. You're gonna build all these different businesses. Before, I did events. There was a need for it in the time because it was like pandemic era, so people wanted to get back into that community. The need subsided and the ROI still wasn't there, so my passion still wasn't matching that need. So the passion still has to match the need, and you have to feel so good at being the supplier of that need. Comment below if that makes sense. All right guys, so just to wrap it up and just hone in on what we need to do when targeting our audience, targeting our customer avatar, or if you wanna look at it like I do, targeting your bestie, you have to make sure you know who they are, where they are, what are they interested in, what is the need, and you're also gonna be open to testing these different campaigns, listening to how the audience responds, as long as you match it with consistency when it comes to content, because you can't really hear a response or get any data from not posting consistently as well. So when you're very serious about making sure you're posting, making sure you're listening to what your audience is saying, then you're able to adjust, then you're able to hone in more, and then you also might find out in the long run that this is not worth it and you need to switch to the next marketing tactic when building your business. If you need help, I do consulting, I do one-on-ones, so go ahead, hit that link below so we can get started and let's build your social business. Alrighty guys, if you missed it, here's the last video. Let's get into it. And if you wanna look at what YouTube thinks you like, tap on this video here. I'll see you in the next one, Social Nova fam. Bye.